The camera pans across a high school hallway. Students stare, stunned. A boy lies on the floor screaming, his arm twisted, dislocated. Standing above him, breathing heavily but still, is a quiet new girl, her eyes filled with both pain and power. The principal rushes in. Gasps echo. The boy's friends scatter. But what no one saw is what led to this moment. Sierra wasn't used to silence, but ever since the accident, it was all she knew. She had moved to the small town of Wilveridge after a traumatic home invasion left her father in the hospital and her mother terrified of the world. The incident had left Sierra emotionally withdrawn. She barely spoke, avoided eye contact, and walked like a ghost through the world. She and her mother now lived in a modest rented apartment above a laundromat. The town was quiet. Too quiet. But Sierra liked it that way. Her first day at Westbrook High was the kind of quiet that was dangerous. Whispers behind lockers, sideways glances, and smirks followed her from classroom to cafeteria. She wore oversized clothes, hair tied in a rough bun, and eyes downcast. She didn't respond when kids asked where she was from. She didn't react when someone knocked her books off the desk by mistake. But she noticed everything. Especially Derek, the ringleader. Blonde, built like a linebacker, and with a cruelty in his smile that reeked of insecurity. His two loyal shadows, Kyle and Brent, copied his every move. "What's up, Scarecrow? Lose your tongue in the move," Derek taunted one afternoon in the cafeteria. Sierra ignored him. Derek leaned closer and whispered, "Or are you just waiting for Daddy to come save you?" No one knew what happened at her old house. No one knew why she flinched every time a loud noise cracked. And Sierra intended to keep it that way. She just wanted to blend in. To disappear. But silence invites shadows. And shadows don't stop unless you shine light on them. Weeks passed. Her science teacher praised her project. Derek accidentally spilled orange soda on it. She cleaned up without a word. One girl, Ava, tried to be kind. "You know, you don't have to take it," she whispered once in art class. "He's just cruel when no one stands up to him." Sierra gave a faint smile. "Thank you," she replied. It was one of the only times anyone had heard her voice. Later that day, she sat at the back of the gym, watching as students trained for a self-defense awareness week organized by a local volunteer group. A man demonstrated how a simple twist of the wrist could break someone's balance. Sierra stared blankly. Flashback. A home broken into. A man dragging her mother by the hair. Her father unconscious. Her 12-year-old self, frozen. But that wasn't the end. After that day, her uncle, a former Special Forces trainer, moved in. He taught Sierra not just how to fight, but how to survive. He taught her to wait. To observe. To act only when it mattered most. It was a cold Tuesday morning. The hallway was crowded. Sierra was walking to her locker when Derek snuck up behind her and yanked her hair hard, laughing. "Let's see what kind of shampoo the mute freak uses." He didn't know she had slept 2 hours that night because her mom had another anxiety attack. He didn't know they might lose their apartment next month. He didn't know her silence wasn't fear, it was restraint. She turned around slowly. Her eyes didn't hold tears this time, just clarity. Derek reached for her again. And then it happened. A fluid movement. Like water snapping into steel. Her hand caught his wrist, twisted in a calculated arc, and with a swift pivot, snap. He screamed. The hallway froze. His friend stepped back in horror. Sierra stood still. Her hair was messy, but her face was calm. She hadn't shouted. She hadn't warned. She had simply acted. A teacher ran toward them. The nurse was called. The principal demanded explanations. Derek tried to play victim, but Ava stepped up. He pulled her hair. He harassed her for weeks. You just never paid attention. One by one, students came forward. Brent and Kyle stayed quiet. Sierra was taken to the office, but this time, she wasn't alone. Ava waited outside. A few more students offered to sign statements. Someone from the self-defense program recognized her and offered to speak on her behalf. The school launched a full investigation. But more importantly, Sierra felt something she hadn't in years: dignity. A week later, Derek's suspension was official. His parents threatened to sue, but after seeing video footage from a student's phone, they backed off. Sierra was cleared of wrongdoing. In gym class, one of the boys approached her. "Where'd you learn that move?" Sierra smiled. "From someone who taught me never to be afraid again." By the end of the semester, she had a small circle of real friends. Ava, a couple of quiet students, even some who had once stood by and watched, now wanted to learn how to stand up. Sierra didn't become popular. She didn't want to. But she joined the self-defense club and even volunteered to teach girls how to protect themselves. Her past didn't change. Her trauma didn't vanish. But her silence had become strength. Sometimes, silence isn't weakness. It's waiting. Waiting for the right moment to speak without words. To show the world that being kind, quiet, or different never means being powerless. Fade out with soft music as Sierra helps another shy student learn a basic self-defense block.